Hey, what's going on, family and friends? This weekend, I had the pleasure of attending Cal State Fullerton's Alumni Gathering, hosted by the university's Center of Entrepreneurship. It was an incredible opportunity to network with fellow Titan alumni, connect with multiple generations of entrepreneurs, and say farewell to someone who's had a deep impact on my life, Professor John Bradley Jackson, the director of the program and my professor from way back in 2012. This event brought together individuals who've been shaped by the university, and what made it even more special was the open mic, a chance for the attendees to pitch their business or share their appreciation for Professor Jackson. You know I grabbed the mic to speak from the heart. But before I play my moment, I want to share a few powerful clips from Professor Jackson himself because the gems he dropped are worth your time. In the first clip, he shares his perspective on entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is about challenging the status quo. Things won't always go according to plan, but in those moments, that's when entrepreneurs must pivot, not just to survive, but to thrive.
And are there any accountants in the room, by the way? I do really feel sorry for you. Because accounting as an area of study is about following the rules and repetition and making sure everything is perfect. Entrepreneurship is challenging everything, breaking things to discover if there's a better way. And so it's really a mindset. So that's the goal in the program, is to get you thinking about how to challenge the status quo and maybe make things a little better or a lot better.
In the next clip, Professor Jackson highlights what it takes to be successful. Bottom line is, entrepreneurs just don't give up. Resilience and believing in yourself is everything. But just as important is being coachable, staying open to feedback, and always willing to grow.
Traits of successful people: utter persistence. And it would be openness to feedback, acknowledge that things maybe didn't go so well and that there's a way to do it better. There's just an iterative process of entrepreneurship, of new venture creation, and some of us have the chromosomes to go do that.
In the third clip, he dives into failure. Just because you fall down doesn't mean you can't get back up. And in every failure lies a lesson. Instead of seeing it as a defeat, look at it as an opportunity to gain insight, adapt, and improve. Stay grounded, stay level-headed, because that's where the silver linings show up.
Failure, it's embedded in the experience, but it's really disguised learning, where people learn how to do something better, and you learn by doing. Some of us are gifted, I'm not. I tell this story about teaching, where on 4 days' notice, I became the marketing instructor for this program. So, okay, I can do that. And so I prepared my lecture, which for a 3-hour class, and after 30 minutes, I was completely out of material. And so I turned to one of the students in the class and I said, "So Ray, what would you do?" And
And in this final clip, Professor talks about how to beat competition. You're either first, the best, or you're different. That's also the title and thesis of his first book, First, Best, or Different. And you know I got a copy. I just need you to sign it, Professor. Being first isn't easy, especially when the giants are watching, like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. Being the best is hard to sustain. Everyone's trying to dethrone you. So that leaves being different. And when he said that, I felt like he was speaking directly to me. Because here's the truth. My media agency isn't the first. We're definitely not the best. So that leaves me with being different. It's different because I'm just being me. I'm documenting my digital journey in my own way. And you know what? That's absolutely enough. Because there's plenty of room for all of us. We're all unique in our own ways, but some of us, we just need a kick in the butt to get started.
You can be first to market and succeed, but the challenge with that is being first is like going through the jungle with a machete, and then standing behind you are other people, other companies, namely like Apple and Microsoft and others. They follow the first movers and then they chew them up. And then there's best. Well, it's possible, and you get to the top of the mountain, and what happens? People try to knock you off. Right? So you could be best, but it's very short-lived. And then I suggest to you that what that leaves is being different. And that's doing maybe just one thing that's better, disruptive, that is valued by your customer. And with that, they'll choose to do business with you and refer you. Therefore, you can be first, best, or different.
So here it is, my moment with the mic, a quick snapshot of my entrepreneurial journey, and a thank you to one of the most impactful individuals in my life, Professor Jackson.
Ray Fuentes, happy Saturday. Really excited to be here. Professor, thank you for giving me the opportunity to join. I actually just interviewed Professor Jackson about a month ago now on my YouTube channel. A little bit about me. Entrepreneurship is something I take very seriously. It's something that's been great for me since being in JJ's class in 2012. I took the Entrepreneurship Program. I had a great time. Actually, it was one of the most pivotal moments in my life because my family adopted a 1-year-old when I was 18. I got to see through that experience all the opportunities that my parents provided to me throughout my life that I took for granted. Through that opportunity and seeing the life that my parents provided for this foster child, I said, I want to start a philanthropic company. I sold backpacks. I started a backpack company, got them into Tilly's. We got them into all these shops all across from SoCal to NorCal. And we took over 200 foster kids on field trips. And the reason why I chose to do this was because pure opportunity is what really defines the trajectory of one's life, including myself up here. Really, how I even got to that moment was I came to the professor with this idea on the very first day of class, and he goes, Ray, in this class, you get involved with groups. I suggest you pitch this business idea to your peers and see if anybody would like to join you on doing this business plan. I go back home and I get some prototypes made. I got pressed on little t-shirts made, and I come to class ready to present. And the business at that time was called Rosa Packs. Roses being the symbol of love, backpacks was the vehicle. And I pitched this idea, and I asked if anybody would like to join, please raise their hand, and nobody raised their hand. And it was just a long walk of shame back to my seat. And the professor must have just felt that, because he said, hey Ray, basically chased me up and said, before you leave, let's talk. And so he pulled me aside after class and said, Ray, that was a really great pitch. In entrepreneurship, what really defines an entrepreneur is just somebody that can take calculated risks. And so from that very moment, I've been taking calculated risks all along the way. Unfortunately, backpacks wasn't a profitable avenue, but it was still a very good experience for me. We got to take over 200 foster kids and do slap shots on the King's ice before the games, or fishing trips and catching tuna. So we did so many cool things that I loved doing when I was a kid. Anyways, so we did some really great things. I got into insurance, and from there I got to see, for the 10 years or decade that I sold business insurance to small businesses all throughout Orange County, I got to see the dreams that these people were just coming up to the table. And I was like, man, these people have such great ideas. They're living their life. They've got all this passion. Meanwhile, I'm doing great selling business insurance, but it was a wonderful experience for me to sharpen the tools in my tool shed. COVID hit. I followed my investment thesis, said, all right, if people are starting to use these disruptive technologies, who's funding the next insurance firm that's going to be doing great in tech? And so I landed at a Peter Thiel-backed insurance firm called Newfront. They insure this company called Ripple Labs that I invest in very heavily. And actually I was in Singapore last week at one of their conferences interviewing a lot of fintech innovators and disruptors. And what I like to do is just document my life, because through social media, we are able to create brands around ourselves. And I've been doing that every day, and I'm loving my life. I suggest everyone who's got a phone to do just that, because it leveled the playing field for people like me to reach global audiences, and that's what I do for a job, for my work and passion. Thanks, Professor.
And to all you youngsters who are just about to enter your collegiate career and you've watched this video till the end, I appreciate you. I hope you all have a legendary professor like John Jackson. And if you do, don't waste the opportunity. College is what you make of it, just like the people who you surround yourself with. Our time here on earth is precious, so make the very best of it. You're not only helping yourself, but you're helping others and inspiring them along the way. Now, with that being said, thank you all for tuning in today. Love you mucho.